right, here we are. No one asked us. Logan said, let's go. We're going. That's Logan Lee. I'm Craig Choate. Another episode of No One Asked Us, Season 2, Episode 6, number 68 overall. Follow us on all the social media channels. They are listed on the YouTube. If you are watching, they are in the description of wherever you are consuming this show. I'm at Craig W. Choate. He is at the Logan Lee. We are at No One Asked Us Pod on Twitter. You can find them. They're not hidden. They are there. So give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you're on the YouTube, you're already here. Hit the thumbs up, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We need to keep those numbers growing. We do appreciate you all that are listening. So if you could hit the like and subscribe, that would really help us out. Logan, did I miss anything in that?
No, I think you hit everything. I think
One
you
more
needed
thing.
one more really though. One more really.
I can't give it to him.
That's it for the line.
There are
stuff?
chapters in the descriptions because our shows are really long.
Oh,
So if you don't want to listen to our Illini ramblings and you want to go to something else, there are chapters in the description to let you know when we start talking about what. So I'm going to toss it to Logan because he had a weekend. How are you doing? I guess I should say we are a day delayed. Sorry for that. Things happen. It is Tuesday afternoon, evening. We normally go on Monday evenings, but we are delayed for reasons that you will not know unless one of us decides to tell you. But we are here. It is Tuesday evening, August 30th. Logan, how was your weekend?
I'm just happy to be here, man. Just happy to be here.
Same thing you said yesterday when I asked how you doing.
Yeah. Went back to visit the homestead for the weekend. Wanted to see the Comets' first game under new coach Cameron Lee. Got the dub on Saturday. That was cool.
Whoop, whoop.
Shout out Oakwood Comets, 1-0 on the season. My trip down to Oakwood though on Friday, little eventful. Got into some car trouble, so made for an eventful weekend that ultimately stretched into Tuesday. So I made it back to South Bend. So I'm back here now. That's why I'll be honest, that's why we didn't record. I was not available to do such a thing. So thank you to my wonderful parents and my grandfather for their assistance and their helping rescue me and hospitality and all that good
That's
stuff.
what they're there for, right?
Had some good times last night during storms that ripped through. Had a whole sleepover at the house with my brother and his wife and their kids. So it was a good time. Very eventful, but good weekend. Super long high school football game on Saturday. My goodness. I guess it's been a long time since I've really paid attention to an entire high school football game. The heat obviously didn't help either. It was 90 degrees on Saturday. So it was a 3-hour football game, or at least 2:45 or something. I don't know. It was long. But it was good. So back at it now, ready to talk about whatever happened this weekend, because I don't even know.
That's what I was going to say. We are a couple extra days removed from the Illini game on Saturday. So we're not going to dissect every single thing that happened because we're already halfway to the next game. So it's going to be kind of a combination of a quick look back, but also just a quick look ahead in Indiana, and then we'll go from there. So what caught your eye? Is it the inefficient car making industry of said car, or what caught your eye this week?
What caught my eye was the cornfields of central Indiana, west central Indiana, at about 4:30 on a Friday evening.
Are you remixing the corn TikTok song?
Yes,
I love corn.
That's obviously what I'm doing. I'm gonna take the obvious thing here. Chucky Robinson. We've talked about him a couple times already on this show. I had this written down as what caught my eye earlier in the week after he got his first hit. And then last night he went yard. He went deep in Cincinnati. Really cool story too. A guy from Danville caught the home run ball.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw any of that.
Yeah.
Was able to get it to Chucky's mom. So that was just kind of not a lot of people at that game. But just so happened that the person that caught the home run balls from Danville. So really cool moment for him. He's had a pretty good week after getting called up earlier in the week, getting his first hit, and now has his first home run under his belt too as a Major League Baseball player. So we've already talked about him a lot on the show the last couple of weeks, but I just wanted to give him another shout out just because that's a pretty cool milestone to check off your first hit and your first home run in the span of your first few games in the majors. So good for him. Proud of him. Proud to see where he's come and where he's all that stuff. So just a cool story. A lot of cool stuff that's come from that. I know a lot of Danville is proud to see it. It's really cool to see, and happy to continue to watch him go for it. So it's really cool.
Yeah. It was a shot. Absolute. Got all of it. It was crushed, no doubt off the bat. So I figured that's where you were going to go. If you didn't, I was going to, but I still wasn't sure. Mine was the PGA Tour wrapped up on Sunday, and Rory McIlroy came back and won the Tour Championship. And I guess the moment of the week, or not moment of the week, but what caught my eye was just the season he had. He finished in the top 8 in all 4 majors. Didn't win any of them, but top 8 in all 4. And then he wins the Tour Championship, wins the FedEx Cup to end the season. I think he made a total of $28.7 million or something this year. He was the only player scoring average to be below 69. I think it was 68.7 was his scoring average for the season. One of the best seasons I've seen from a golfer in a long time. Actually, he had a better one in 2014 because I think he did the same thing in the majors, top 10s, and he actually won one of them. So similar to his 2014, but I think it's just means even more because he's kind of been the flag bearer of the PGA Tour through this whole live tour thing that's going on, and Rory's really digging his heels in, and him and Tiger are doing some potentially cool things to keep the PGA Tour relevant and kind of fend off live, which had 6 more golfers go to live just this morning, including Cam Smith, the British Open champion, who's now officially heading to the live tour. But it was a really cool moment on Sunday to see the season come to an end with Rory, who has meant so much to the tour this season, to win it and come back, and he beat Scotty Scheffler in the tournament. So that's what caught my eye Sunday afternoon. Other than Albert Pujols continuing to do what he's doing and the Cardinals, but yeah, it was a good one.
I have a golf related question for you.
Okay.
You just brought up something that I would like to ask. I would like to get your input on this. So golf obviously is a solo sport. And they are playing for titles, but you brought up a financial figure. Whatever you said, 20 something million dollars that he's won over the course of the season or whatever. Similar to like auto racing, like NASCAR, where they're playing for essentially a money prize. Money in like the racing world, the money that you win from race to race goes into your car, goes into your staff, goes into, that type of thing. Obviously, every athlete makes money, so it's not any different. But what would be like the biggest difference between NASCAR money and golf money? Because like, is that money just all going to him? I mean, does that go anywhere? I mean, it's not going to pay off his equipment. I mean, he already has his. I mean, I'm not sure he's not buying clubs every other week.
Right.
Like is that just money they pocket?
Most of it, yeah. They do have a team, and obviously the caddy in his contract gets a cut of every tournament. And then I'm sure he has his brand team and his marketing team and whatever, his drivers, whatever. But I think for the most part, that's his.
I just never really thought about it.
Yeah, because golfers don't have he's a TaylorMade guy, so TaylorMade gives him all of his clubs. And I think he's still Nike apparel, so Nike gives him all his apparel. yeah, they don't really have many expenses like cars or a huge pit crew or anything. He probably pocketed, oh gosh, probably more than 20 of it.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something I've never really thought about because, it's well documented that athletes at all levels make a lot of money and, they have all sorts of deals and things, but you don't hear about it in like the team sports where, the winning team gets X amount of money. That's just not a thing. It's in bonuses and stuff, but like when they're actually like announced as prize figures, you brought that up and it made me think like, because I know about it, in NASCAR, obviously it goes to pay for things, but with golf, I'm not really sure what it would go to pay for. So anyway, that's all I had. So
pays for nice houses and nice cars and a awesome life.
Yeah,
absolutely. Our question last week for what do you think was a Logan question. Have you even looked at the results? It was a simple
I know
M&M's versus Reese's Pieces. What do you would prefer?
I haven't looked at it lately. I do know at one point it was 50-50. Is it still?
It is straight up 50-50. So we don't know.
That's great. Wow, people.
There's no winner. It is straight up 50-50. Half our audience prefers Reese's Pieces, half prefers M&M's. I'm a Reese's Pieces guy. Plain regular M&M's are not my thing. I mean, I'll eat them. If they're at the house, I'll eat them 100%. But I need a little something to go with my chocolate more usually. So.
That's fair. That's really funny. I hadn't actually checked on it in a few days, so I figured at some point one of them would go the other way, but nope. Yeah. All right, right down the middle. Good for you. Good for
I mentioned our question for this week. I think last week, I don't know if we were recording or if it was pre-recording where I was talking to Logan. I'm going to the Cardinals Cubs game on Saturday, and I'm getting an Albert Pujols jersey. So I want to know which one I should get. The white home, the gray road, the powder blue road, or the cream home. You don't care about
Are you buying this at the game?
Probably. Or I might buy it before at a store and wear it to the game. If I stop at a team store, like at a mall or something before.
I was going to say, I would not advise you to purchase that online.
At stadium. Oh, online. Yeah, no. That's never happening again. I will preface this with I do have a white Arenado, regular white home Arenado. So throwing that out there. What's your answer now since our show released after the game?
Okay.
You don't care.
You
don't have to answer.
No, I do have something to say about this.
Okay.
I am very partial to a particular jersey that the Cardinals wear. And I really enjoy it.
The powder.
And I'm really glad that Illinois also did it for baseball as well. Okay, I love the jerseys.
Okay.
However, I don't have many memories of Albert Pujols wearing that jersey.
I think that's what would make it cool.
Like they brought that back after he left, right?
Oh yeah, they've only had it for.
That's only been the last few years, and so I don't even know that I've seen an image of him wearing it this year. So, that's where I stand on it. I love the powder blue jerseys. If I was a Cardinal fan, I would have already purchased a couple of those. I'm not, and I won't. So that's just not a thing. But yeah, that's my caveat to that is that I don't know that it's as. I don't think I associate Albert Pujols with that jersey. So that's probably why I maybe wouldn't do it. But
that's what's making me lean into doing that or the cream because he didn't wear the cream either. That was 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, that's true.
That was like 3 or 4 years after.
That's a good point. I've forgotten about that option. Yeah, that's true.
So he hadn't wore either of them, but I think that's why I might go that way because I'm getting this as like his last season type of thing. So those are my top two. I'm probably not going to get a white, but I'm throwing that option out there because I already have the Arenado. But
how many jerseys are you up to now?
I've got 3 NFL jerseys, 1 NBA jersey, 1 MLB jersey. I do have a Blues sweater that's not a player. It's just plain on the back. I have an Ozzie Smith throwback powder blue that doesn't fit, so that doesn't count. And then I have a Chelsea Christian Pulisic. So 7, 8.
Wow.
Yeah, this will be 9.
It's impressive.
So All right, let's get into it. Illini football pick up a win, 38-6 over Wyoming Saturday. Chase Brown, 19 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 catches for 16 yards and a touchdown. Tommy DeVito, 27 of 37, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns. 12 different players caught passes, which caught my eye, spreading it out quite a bit. On defense, Quan Martin, 7 tackles, 3 pass breakups, Devin Witherspoon, an interception. The defense was 11 of 12 on third down and 1 for 1 on fourth down. A lot of big stops, allowing only 212 yards and 30 yards passing on the day. And then a negative on the day was 6 penalties on Illinois that called a couple big plays back, specifically on Isaiah Williams. I know you were busy this weekend. Your brother's game was Saturday. How much of a conflict was it? Did you get to watch any of this Illinois game?
I did not watch much of this game. Oakwood's game did get over in time, but I ended up having to help
after
out do
party
some other things. So,
W party.
Yeah. So I caught some of the game on TV. I caught some of it on the radio, and by the time that I was really able to sit down and watch it, it was already pretty much out of hand. So, but I did notice a few things. After the game, I was watching SportsCenter at one point, and I saw that Chase Brown was featured as it was on in the house. They did something about Saturday's best, and they gave him the award for best chase, which whatever.
Best high-speed chase.
Yes. I don't know. No, I did not see much of the game. I did hear a good amount of it, the first half on the radio at least. It's a nice win. It's Wyoming was never going to be a team to be too terribly concerned about. But I think from what I have seen, we know the penalties are part of the issue.
Yeah.
But the word that you were searching for in our preseason episode, competency.
Yes.
I think that was a factor, and I think they accomplished that goal, and they were at least that much. So, that's something to be proud of, and take that into next week.
I think that's a great word to describe Tommy DeVito on Saturday. He was competent. Yep. He did not panic. He was not sacked one single time, which he made sure to mention after the game to the Illini beat reporters that he thinks it's the first time in his college career that that's happened. And he specifically said, I'm not taking any shots here at my former institution, but it's the first time I've never been sacked, which kind of taking a shot. But Illinois also did not sack Wyoming's quarterback. There were no sacks in the game either way. But the Illinois defense did play really well. Otherwise, you didn't need to sack that quarterback. He went like 3 for 20 through the air. But yes, competent is a great word to start, especially with Tommy DeVito. Do you want me to throw my Chase Brown hot take out there now? Like, it.
Oh, I saw this on Twitter. Go ahead.
Did you? Is it? Do I have to lean all the way into it, or can a hot take be something that you wouldn't be surprised happens? Or is a hot take like you have to? Like that's your stance.
I think a hot take is a stance. I think you're more like, if you're not fully leaning into it, I think it's more like a lukewarm take would be.
This might be more lukewarm.
What you call it.
But
go on, tell the people.
I think Chase Brown could and very well could lead the Big Ten in rushing this year.
I don't think that's crazy.
Okay, I didn't think so either.
I'm not going to sit out here and suggest he's a Heisman candidate by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't know that the Big Ten is chock full of the Big Ten's best players on offense are a quarterback, a receiver. I think it's certainly possible if the line holds up, if he ends up carrying a bulk of the offense. They don't exactly have a stellar group of receivers. I think Chase Brown, if he stays healthy, is the offense. So I don't think that's crazy. Do I think it happens? I don't know. I think there's a decent shot of it, but I don't think that's crazy at all. I think that is legitimate. That's not being a homer take. I think that's just knowing the situation, knowing the circumstances. A lot of things could happen. There could be an injury to somebody, him or someone else, that could change some things. You could see an emergence of somebody else that might help. There's a lot of factors, but I think there are indicators that suggest that that's certainly plausible.
the leading rusher last year ran for about 1,600, I think. Chase Brown eclipsed 1,000. He ran for 151. He ran for 151 in week 1. And to get to 1,600 for 12 games, he would have to average about 130 something. So that average from here on out went down a little bit because he eclipsed that what would be average in week 1. I don't think it's that crazy. You're talking about on Twitter with my reply to unnecessary roughness. Is that what you saw? Yeah. They read my tweet in their show last night release, and they agreed. They did not think with what you said. They agreed with that's not really that far-fetched. I think it is believable and doable. I could see Chase Brown having a Kenneth Walker season from last year. Yeah. I believe he had about 1,600. He was not the Big Ten leading rusher, I don't think. I think Trayvon Henderson might have been. No, Kenneth Walker might have. I think it might have been him. 1,600 yards. He had 20 touchdowns. I don't know that Chase Brown gets 20 touchdowns. But I think he could be a Kenneth Walker type running back this season who runs for 1,500 plus yards, has 15 touchdowns, and kind of becomes a national name. And then you saw Kenneth Walker get drafted in, I think, the 3rd round to the Seahawks. So kind of throwing that hot take out there. I would not be surprised in the slightest if Chase Brown leads the Big Ten in rushing. Although I did put in a Heisman future this week on a different running back in the Big Ten that I just mentioned, TreVeyon Henderson. He's at 3,500 odds right now. So I thought those might be the best odds for a Heisman. So yeah, there's that. There is one injury note. Josh McCray left the game Saturday. Bielema said on Monday that he will not play this week for sure, but they don't know the long-term prognosis. So he's not ruled out for the season. It looked pretty bad, kind of like a hyperextension of the knee or somewhere in the lower leg below the knee, something like that, but no specifics given on that. All right, so we'll move from week 0 to week 1. Illinois travels to Bloomington, Indiana, 8 o'clock Eastern time on FS1. Indiana currently a 3-point favorite, over-under of 45 for the game. A lot of changes for Indiana this year. A lot of changes for Indiana, and to be expected. Entered last season in the top 20 and finished 2-10 and 0-9 in the Big Ten. New offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new quarterback. Pretty much knew everything. They don't have a lot returning from last year. The new offensive coordinator's name's Walt Bell. He was the UMass head coach. Before that, he was offensive coordinator at Maryland and Florida State. Defensive coordinator is Chad Wilt. His first defensive coordinator job, he was D-line coach at Minnesota most recently. And the quarterback who seems to be leading the competition is Connor Bazelak, who is a transfer from Missouri with 23 career touchdown passes. And I think he led Mizzou to 5 or 6 wins his freshman season. Had a pretty good freshman season, but he has transferred to Indiana. The stations down here cover Indiana like a local school, so I see some Indiana coverage, which is where I'm getting all that. It's where I got the Bazelak stuff is from Christie's station, WDRB down here from Missouri. They think he seems to be the favorite to be the quarterback, but it's a team that no one really knows a whole lot about. The reporters down here are talking about how they've closed down training camp pretty much completely, kind of like what Bielema does. Doesn't want people to know what's going on preseason. So let me ask you this first of all. Who does it benefit more, or who has a bigger advantage this week? Indiana seeing Illinois play and have some tape on Illinois, or Illinois getting on the field and playing a game, whereas Indiana has not? What's the bigger benefit?
Question. That's a good question. As you were asking that, I was leaning towards Indiana. But I don't know that there was much about Illinois' game that was really. I mean, yes, it's a new offensive coordinator, so the offense is gonna look different. But I think a lot of the personnel. I mean, Tommy DeVito's different. Yeah, there's certainly things that have changed, but it's still Chase Brown. It's still a lot of the same receiving core. I think I'll lean towards Illinois in that situation. Having a week under their belt already to get some of that, early rust off. kind of get to the flow of some things. You obviously don't love they will have had however many days of rest between their games, and Indiana's had a whole season's worth. So I guess that if you want to consider that a factor, okay. But I think I'd lean towards Illinois in that scenario. I think they having that week probably might give them a little bit of an advantage. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think so too. I was similar to you, as initially I thought it would benefit Indiana more, just having the game film of Illinois. But thinking back to the game, Wyoming did some stuff to take Illinois out of what they wanted to do a little bit, I think. In the post game, someone asked about, Tommy DeVito not taking any shots or anything downfield. And first of all, Bielema was like, I don't like that term shots, because when I hear taking shots, it makes me think he's just throwing it up there to no one, which I kind of agree with. But he also said that Wyoming was defending the back half of the secondary. They were keeping everything in front of him, basically, is what he said, which is the reason that Tommy DeVito had 27 completions but didn't reach the 200-yard mark, because everything was kind of dink and dunk. They didn't have many big chunk plays. I don't know of any passes that went longer than 20 yards maybe. But also, I think I lean Illinois because, the saying is, control what you can control, and you'll win the game. Don't do what you do, and you'll win the game. So the fact that Illinois got on the field, they were able to work with one another for 60 minutes of clock time and see how things work, I think that is a massive benefit to go along with the fact that I'm sure Illinois did not show their full playbook.
No, not at all.
So Indiana can scout that Wyoming game all they want, but I would expect to see a bunch of different stuff on Friday night as well. So I think Illinois is a big advantage here. Do you have any thoughts on the game? I don't know how much more we can get into it, because we don't know anything about Indiana, because it's all brand new. We haven't seen them. No idea. So what are you thinking? Are you with the bookies? Do you think Indiana should be favored in this game?
No.
I jumped on Monday afternoon. No, Sunday afternoon. I locked in Illinois plus 3.5 and Illinois money line. So I'm locked into my bets here.
I'm not sure what was going on with Indiana last year. 2 seasons ago was kind of a fluky good season. And last year just seemed like a fluky bad season. I'm not saying Indiana's ever going to be a consistent, top half of the Big Ten football team, but those were 2 very different seasons that they just had. I would venture to guess they'll find their way back up, in the standings by the end of the year. I don't think they'll be as bad as they were last year. But other than the fact that it's in Bloomington, I don't really see Indiana having that much of an advantage over Illinois. So I guess those 3.5 points or whatever it is now is based on location. That's really about all you got going for you. No, I think I think Illinois will be the better team going into that game. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but I think that they should be the favorite to win that game, whether or not Vegas says so. Indiana was just terrible last year, just abysmal.
They weren't even close losses. They weren't Nebraska losses. They were blowouts.
Such an incredible 2 years to go from arguably the best season they've ever had football to whatever last year was. Such a turnaround, the opposite direction, whatever the opposite of a turnaround. What's the opposite of a turnaround? Because that's what that was. It was just awful. So
turn back around. I don't know.
Regression. I think Illinois should be favored in this game. I understand, can maybe understand why they're not. But I would.
It's got to be the home field.
Take Illinois. Yeah, it's the home field.
It's 3. 100%. They say in football 3 points, right?
Yeah.
So there it is, right there. It's basically a toss up. I think Illinois should be like Indiana -1 maybe or something like that. Yeah. But like I said, I locked in Illinois plus 3.5 and Illinois money line on Sunday afternoon, because that was my biggest regret Saturday. The line, like 3 days prior to the Wyoming game, was Illinois -10. And I saw it and I was like, they're going to beat them by more than 10. And I should have bet a lot more than I did. I still won the -14, but whew. All right, so we'll pick the game here in a little bit in our pick'em segment as we go forward. The other Big Ten score, Nebraska, another one possession loss. Man, I don't even know if we need to talk about it because everyone's talking about it. But holy cow, Northwestern beats Nebraska 31-28. For those that haven't seen, I know you guys all at this point that are listening to the show, all of you have. Did you watch this? You probably didn't watch this either.
No, I did not get to see any of this game.
So they took a 28-17 lead. Yeah, they took a 28-17 lead in the third quarter. Nebraska did. And they tried an onside kick.
Yeah.
Nebraska did an onside kick in the third quarter, up by 11. Northwestern recovers, scores a touchdown, and then another touchdown to win the game. Like, holy cow. I'm surprised Scott Frost didn't get left in Ireland.
I'm surprised
he's done.
Why is he even there? Why is he still there? Like, what's happening?
Now, I know it's week 1, so like, can you really write him off yet? I don't think so.
No.
But you just can't. I don't see any improvement coming.
No.
It was just bad. Do I feel for Nebraska fans? No. Not at all. Hate Nebraska football fans. But yeah, so there's that. Nebraska is 0-1 in the Big Ten already. Northwestern is 1-0 in the Big Ten already. This week's schedule, everyone but Northwestern plays. Nebraska did fly back from Ireland, and they are going to play this week. So we'll run down with it. Starts Thursday night, Penn State at Purdue, 8 o'clock on Fox. Then New Mexico State at Minnesota, also Thursday at 9 on BTN. There is a couple Friday games, Western Michigan and Michigan State from East Lansing, 7 o'clock on ESPN, and that Illinois-Indiana game as well. Then Saturday, Colorado State at Michigan starts at noon, South Dakota State at Iowa at noon, Buffalo at Maryland at noon, Rutgers and BC at noon. I like that Rutgers-BC game. That's going to tell us a lot about both schools because we are both in ACC country, kind of, and BC is kind of an up-and-coming team. So we'll see what Rutgers has as well as BC. Nebraska hosts North Dakota at 3:30. Wisconsin hosts the Redbirds from Illinois State at night, 7 o'clock on FS1. And then the big one, the nightcap on Saturday, Notre Dame at Ohio State, 7:30 on ABC. That's obviously the best game of the year. It's one of our options for our Pick Your Pick segment. So one of us will pick that game coming up in just a second. But before we do Pick Your Pick, it's power rankings time. Not a lot to go off of, so I don't know how many changes there are going to be. But Logan, give me your 14 through 11 in that order.
I would do that as soon as I get my computer mouse to work. Okay, I did jumble up the bottom. I basically swapped Nebraska and Northwestern. So I go Nebraska 14, Indiana 13, Rutgers 12, Northwestern 11. I don't love it, but I just decided just to do that just because of what happened. So
Nebraska, worst team in the Big Ten.
I don't think they'll finish there. Scott Frost,
so
man. Scott Frost. God.
Man, he's gonna have to do some turning things around to save his job. I hate mine. I hate my 14 through 11 because I have Indiana at 14, and that just scares me. That scares me heading into Friday night. I just don't like it. So I have Indiana at 11, and I know the whole, well, how can you have someone who just beat someone else ahead of that someone? I'm keeping Nebraska ahead of Northwestern. I don't think Northwestern's a better team than Nebraska. So I've got Northwestern 13. Nebraska does drop 2 spots down to 12, but still ahead of Northwestern, and Rutgers is at 11. So let's go 10 through 7.
I didn't change anything else. I left
Nothing
Illinois
else in
where
the top
they
10.
were.
Okay.
No. Illinois was the only other team to play, and I did not move them. So,
okay.
My next 4, I go Maryland, Illinois, Purdue, Michigan State.
Just give us your top 10 then, backward, 10 to 1.
10 to 1, Maryland, Illinois, Purdue, Michigan State, Penn State, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Michigan, Ohio State.
Okay. So there's Logan's 14. I moved Illinois up into the top 10. I think they were 11 last week because Nebraska was not. Nebraska was 10. So Illinois is now 10. 9 through 1 is the same for me. Maryland, Michigan State, Penn State, Minnesota, Purdue, Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Ohio State. Those will start changing now that everyone else is playing every single week. Time to pick your pick, Logan Lee. Your boy, Craig Choate, started the week 1-0, picking Illinois over Wyoming.
Yeah.
Logan started 0-1. He picked Nebraska.
Thank you, Scott Frost.
We're going to find Logan in Lincoln one of these days, and Scott Frost is going to be in some danger. All right, so for those that didn't watch last week, we're changing up our picks. Last week we called them picks of the week. We're calling them pick your pick this week because we've got a pool of games every week, and we're going to alternate picking the game to pick. So Logan will go first because I'm hosting this week. Logan will go first. He has his pick of 10 games that he will pick, and then I will pick from the remaining 9, and then he will pick from the 8 that are left. So we'll go from there. So before we pick, let's run through the games so everyone knows and knows who we're picking first and all that stuff. These are in time order by when they're being played. West Virginia at Pittsburgh on Thursday. Penn State at Purdue on Thursday. Illinois at Indiana on Friday. And then Saturday's games will be Cincinnati at Arkansas, Houston at UTSA, Oregon versus Georgia, which is in Atlanta, Utah at Florida, Notre Dame at Ohio State. We have one Sunday game, Florida State at LSU, and then a Monday game because Monday is Labor Day. We probably will not be recording an episode Monday, I would assume. So we're going to pick this one, Clemson versus Georgia Tech in Atlanta. Florida State versus LSU also is in New Orleans. It's not at Death Valley. So those are the 10 games we're picking. Logan, what game are you going to pick for your pick?
I'm going to take the very last one of the week. I'm going to take Clemson over Georgia Tech. That game being played in Atlanta. Georgia Tech, I guess you can call them the home team there. I guess they would technically be the home team, definitely. But
they are. Yeah, they're based in Atlanta, but it is not at their stadium. It is at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Correct. Clemson is back. I think they are one of the 5 to 7 teams in the mix for a playoff spot by the end of the year. And I don't think they'll have any problems with this one. So my first pick, I will take Clemson over Georgia Tech.
Probably a smart pick. Pick. I don't think it's going to be close. I didn't look at the line, but I don't think it's going to be close. I'm going somewhere I don't know that you would expect me to go because rankings-wise, it's the closest ranked game, and it's 2 top 5 teams. But I don't think it's going to be close.
I was going to go this way.
Ohio State is going to blow the doors off of Notre Dame.
I was going there.
Yeah. So I am taking Ohio State as my first pick this week.
If you didn't, I was. I have heard it from
17-point favorite
fans. Several Notre Dame fans that they're going to win that game, and nope, just not happening. So that's where I was going to. So good for you. Right. I will take with my second pick. I'm going to take the Illini.
Wow.
I'm as we've already talked about, I think listen, I looked at this whole slate of games. You did a pretty good job because if I was doing this based on like a confidence thing, I was struggling, man. I was really struggling to figure out how I was going to do this on a confidence level. So I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to take the Illini to win their game Friday night in Bloomington. That's my second pick.
There was a late switch. I'm sorry, SIU, but I don't know if you noticed. I took SIU out.
I didn't.
When I realized Houston and UTSA play.
Yeah.
Which should be a pretty good game.
Incarnate
They play Saturday. Incarnate Word. It's a top 15 matchup in the FCS, but I don't think many of our listeners care about SIU and Incarnate Word. All right. Oh, man. This is a tough week. This is a tough slate. I really don't know where I'm going to go. I might go to the Swamp. I think that might be where I go. I think I'm going to go to the Swamp. Florida's got a new coach. Utah won the Pac-12 last year. I know it's a long trip. It's East Coast at night, but I'm going to take Utah to beat Florida in the Swamp as my second pick. Might not be smart, but I'm really high on Utah. Like I said, Florida's got a new coach. It's a tough test for your first game of the year.
I did rank all these in terms of what order I was going to go in. So my top 4 have been selected in order.
Okay.
Now because I have the 5th pick, my 5th pick will now be selected in order as well. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to take Georgia.
That's the other one that I was thinking about.
Georgia hosts. Well, they don't host Oregon. It is in Atlanta. Oregon's that's a good team. I think they're going to be in that mix to be a playoff team at the end of the year. But I think there's a clear top tier in college football. I think it's Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State. That's tier A, tier 1. Oregon might be tier 2. But I'm going to take Georgia and seemingly what will be a home game in Atlanta for the Bulldogs.
All right, back to me. I like this segment. I like how we're doing this. It's making you think.
I came up with something.
Logan came up with this. This is very good. Man, I don't know. But I'm going to go to the Big Ten. Penn State and Purdue. And I'm taking the home team. I'm taking Purdue to beat Penn State Thursday night. I believe it's like their blackout game or something. I think they're doing something for it. First game of the year, Thursday night on Fox. There's just something about Purdue and those spotlight national games that they get up to play for. So I'm going to take Purdue to beat Penn State on Thursday night.
Smart. I didn't have that one as high on my confidence, so I was going to save it, but I was also going to take Purdue in that situation. Okay. Penn State, I don't know. I just kind of like Purdue there, so I like that pick. All right. I'm going to go to I don't love any of what's left. And I don't love the order that I put these in. I'm going to change my order up here. I'm going to go with I'm going to take the Fighting Brian Kelly's in New Orleans against Florida State.
Okay.
I think Brian Kelly's going to get a win in his first game. I don't know how many more he'll win, but I think he'll get that one. I will take LSU.
Okay. Not where I expected you to go. Florida State did play last week, got a W. LSU has not played yet. So, all right. So we have 3 games left. We've got West Virginia, Pitt left. We've got Cincinnati, Arkansas, and Houston at UTSA left to pick. Oh, man. I will take, man, I know what I'm going to get stuck with the last pick, and I don't want to pick that game. I'm going to take Houston to beat UTSA. I really like UTSA, but I don't know, first of all, who replaced Barry Lunny. I do know they have their quarterback returning, but their running back left for the NFL, and I think most of their receivers are back. So there's talent there, but I'm going to take Houston to beat UTSA on Saturday. So we have Virginia, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati, Arkansas left.
It's West Virginia.
West Virginia, sorry. Yeah, West Virginia, Pittsburgh. Backyard brawl. Talk us through it, Logan. This is an audio form of entertainment. We need to hear things.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the reminder. I don't know where I'm going here. I don't really like either of these. Not that I don't like them. I think that at least one of them could be a pretty darn good football game. And I just lost my third screen, so I just lost you.
I'm still here.
My setup is so technologies. All right, what am I going to do here? I really, really, really want to take one particular team because I want to ride the wave they had last season. But there's also part of me that doesn't even think they'll win this game. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Arkansas.
Damn it.
I'm going to take Arkansas to beat Cincinnati. I know Cincinnati was the big story last year, running the table, making it all the way to the college football playoff. But I think they lose week 1 at Arkansas. And yeah, I'm going to take Arkansas. So that's going to leave you with Pittsburgh or West Virginia.
That's what I was hoping to avoid. I did not want to pick this game.
Sorry.
I knew I was going to get stuck with it. Let me look at something. I think this is the first time these two teams are playing in a long time, or a couple years at least. Pitt is a 7.5 point favorite. I don't like this game at all, but that's what makes this game fun. Arkansas is a 6.5 point favorite over Cincinnati. Oh man, I don't know. Pitt lost Kenny Pickett. West Virginia has JT Dan. I'm going to go with the Mountaineers. Just give it to me. Upset. Give me West Virginia. Don't think Pittsburgh can replicate what they did last year winning the ACC. So that's where we're going. So
you want to know why I'm really glad that we just did it this way?
Why?
Because that was the exact we picked this. You picked every winner that I was also going to pick.
Oh,
so at least now we have different things to go off of. Because otherwise it was the same thing.
Yeah.
We would have been that would have been boring content. So great.
Okay.
Go us.
Running through this, I don't know if I can get it in order here. Logan took Clemson. Logan took Clemson, Georgia, Illinois,
LSU, and
Arkansas. I took Ohio State, Utah,
Purdue, Houston, West Virginia.
Good thing, because I wrote down the wrong school. Okay. All right. So there's our picks for this week. We'll see if we can continue to, at least I can continue to be successful. Anything else football?
Nope. No, sir.
Okay. Moving to Illinois basketball. Excuse me. Geez. Illinois got him. Amani Hansberry committed to the Illini on, I believe it was Sunday afternoon. He has made a just massive leap in the rankings, up 75 spots, I believe, from 127 to 52 or something like that. And he has recently gone up in the 24/7 composite as well. He's up to 73 in the 24/7 composite. 24/7 themselves have him at 52 there. All the crystal ball predictions on 24/7 lean to Illinois, and they were all correct. He chose Illinois over Miami and Virginia Tech, Penn State, I believe. And I forgot who his other Final Four school was, but 6'8", 225. The 24, he did his announcement live on 24/7's YouTube, and then the two recruiting experts stayed on and talked about him afterwards. The comp initially, I forgot who their comp initially was, but then one of the guys said, I also see a lot of Draymond Green in his game. Someone who can get the rebound on one end and bring the ball up without having to find a guard, can bring the ball up and get into the offense himself. So, man,
I think the first
a huge pickup.
I think the first name you were looking for was Al Horford.
Al Horford, yes, I believe so.
I think that was the original comp that I read about him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big pickup. It's a big get, as you already talked about. He's somebody that's climbed the rankings as a high schooler. Illinois, I mean, I think there's a pretty good chance you'll lose 2 of your front court players at least after this year. So you got to start, loading that position up again. I think it's a great get for him. I think it's a guy that Chester Frazier obviously had connections too, and it's a guy that Chester likes. It's a guy that kind of has the same Chester Frazier type of energy. It's a big get. It's a nice pickup for Brad Underwood and company. Got to keep building off this. I mean, they've really turned Illinois back into I don't want to say a national recruiting power, but a program that is to be feared. I mean, when you're going up against a Penn State and I mean, maybe not so much Miami. I think there's some other factors that play there, but I mean, Illinois is somebody to be concerned about. If you're if you're not a major power threat as a basketball school, recruiting a player like that, and then Illinois comes in, you got to be concerned about that now. So it's a nice get. Somebody that can help reload after probably a player or two depart after this season, and keep building for what they're looking to do. Plays a lot of, can play a couple different positions and could switch off on some guys. Obviously still some holes in his game to work on, but he's still got plenty of time to do that. And it's a nice pickup. Nice get for the Illini.
This was a Chester Frazier guy. He's from Maryland, Baltimore. Chester Frazier is from that area, and he was at Virginia Tech up there as well. So a good get for Chester, for the program, and for Illinois. Don't know how many more pieces they'll take in this class. This might be the only one, but it's a good get for Illinois. Very, very good top 100 player that will fit in seamlessly, likely, with what could potentially leave after next season. There was something else I was going to say about him or about the program, and I completely lost it because I'm being texted about fantasy football right now and lost my train of thought. So, anything else on basketball? If not, we can move on.
No.
I
think we're
all
ready
right.
to move on.
NFL starts 12 days, 11 days from today. NFL starts. The big news on today is the cuts down to 53-man rosters for all 32 NFL teams. Paying attention to some of the Illinois guys. This is just off the top of my head. Milo Eifler made the cut on the Commanders. Vidarian Lowe made it for the Vikings. Tony Adams for the Jets. The 49ers cut Malik Turner. Jake Hansen is right on the cut line. I haven't seen what the Texans did with Jake Hansen. Of course, Lovie Smith is the coach for the Texans now, so potentially maybe they keep him on. Let's see here. Just trying to search some names. Jihad Ward made the Giants roster. James McCourt right now is one of two kickers with the Jags. They have not decided on their kicker yet, so he's in a battle with the Jags. I think those are the big ones. Everyone else likely made the team. Of course, Kirby Joseph drafted, made the team. Doug Kramer's hurt, but I think he'll be on the Bears roster this season. So that's the big news in the NFL world. Any fantasy football news from you? Have you done any drafts yet?
I've done one draft. Went okay. It's a deep league with keepers, so there wasn't a lot of great options to choose from. I will have my second draft coming up this coming weekend. And that's it. I'm only in 2 this year, unlike somebody who's like in 7.
Weak. Who's in
I'm
7?
sorry. You.
5.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was 2 off.
Is that too many? Is 5 too many? No.
I don't
know. No. I've had 3 of them. I've had 2 snake drafts. The 2 that are less serious. One's a family league and one is a WCIA alumni league that has started this year. So I got those 2. Those are non-keeper leagues. And then I've had my auction league that I'm in. We had our auction draft Sunday night. $200 salary cap. I drafted I kept Joe Mixon for 43, Justin Jefferson for 40, Kyle Pitts for 19, and J.K. Dobbins for $1. Then I drafted Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts. So I got 2 of the top 10 quarterbacks, each for $10. Mahomes went for like 18. Like last year Mahomes was like 35. And people just were not spending their money on quarterbacks. So I was like, sure, I'll take Hurts and Burrow for $10. So it went okay. Don't have a lot of running back depth, but we'll see. That's a fun one. I like the salary cap type of stuff. So we're getting close. We'll talk more NFL next week when we're closer to the season, like a day or 2 away from the season. In the MLB, Cardinals continue to roll. 6 games up on the Brewers, 20 games over 500 now. Inching closer and closer to feeling very confident about a division win. Still not there yet, but getting closer and closer. Jack Flaherty's close to coming back. Outfield starting to take shape without Dylan Carlson. Surprisingly, he hasn't started a game in like a week. Tyler O'Neill's playing well. Lars Newbar's playing well. And Corey Dickerson has actually been hitting the ball very well to go with Goldschmidt, Pujols, Arenado. So it's clicking right now for the Cardinals, which is nice. I was going to go to the game tonight. I was seconds away from hitting checkout on $5 tickets in Cincinnati, but decided to save some money. Decided not to go, but yeah, things are good. Do you have anything to say about the Cubs, or is the season over?
Well, there was a report that came out about the Cubs a couple days ago that kind of got the fan base chirping a little bit. That
Ricketts going to sell
JP
the team?
Morosi, I believe. No, I believe it was JP Morosi got on Chicago radio and said that he thinks there's a decent chance that if a certain two-way player gets dealt this offseason, that the Cubs are a favorite to land said player.
Brendan McKay?
Not Brendan McKay, who apparently just kind of disappeared off of MLB The Show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's a different topic of conversation. No, Shohei Ohtani.
Never heard of
I'm
him.
not going to get too excited about this, but
I wouldn't either if I were you.
Basically what was said was that if the Angels do decide to deal him, that the Cubs should be in the mix, and sounds like, according to him, would be in the mix. We'll see what happens there. But that was enough to get the Cubs faithful a little excited.
Speaking of the Angels,
other than that, no, the Cubs have been playing better since the All-Star break and since the trade deadline, but no, yes, the Angels.
Speaking of the Angels, they are for sale.
You want to buy them?
I would love to. I would love to buy a sports franchise. The fact that they have had Mike Trout for as long as they have, and now Shohei Ohtani for 3 years. Is this like his 3rd legit year?
I think so.
And they have the same record as the Cubs right now and have not made any playoff appearances. That's the worst front office job maybe ever. And that's atrocious.
I know he's been hurt, but Anthony Rendon's a pretty good third baseman that they paid a lot of money to a couple years ago.
Yep. They had Justin Upton.
Yeah. Albert Pujols, remember him?
Pujols, yeah. Pujols did not. I mean, he had his first couple of years there were okay, but
yeah,
he was not doing what he did. He was not doing in Anaheim what he's doing in St. Louis right now.
No, they made some decisions that probably weren't great, but they've also kind of had some unfortunate luck happen. It's not good. It's not good. It will have been an entire wasted career of one of the greatest baseball players of all time, who will probably finish his career there and likely never win a World Series. I just have a hard time envisioning Shohei Ohtani re-signing there if there's not a clear plan in place for them to win, unless he just really loves being in Southern California. And listen,
don't blame him.
I don't blame him. I mean, I think there's a variety of reasons as why somebody would want to play in Southern California. But like, if I was a baseball player and I could pick it, if I had to choose where I wanted to play just based on geography alone, probably be one of those 3 teams in Southern California would be where I would pick. So I don't blame him. But if winning is something that he's concerned about, which for most people it is, If they don't have a clear plan in place, I would have a hard time believing that he would want to resign there. So that's why I think a trade is possible. Because he does have 1 year remaining after this year before he's up for free agency. So,
yep,
that's
Ooh,
it.
Wouldn't that be something? Holy cow! But yeah, we're like a month, 5 weeks away from postseason time, and I think for the most part we already know who's going to be in the playoffs, at least in the NL.
Yeah,
AL might be a little tougher, but
there's
we
a
might
couple
know
races still, but
we might know the playoff teams a week before the season ends in the NL.
That's not what you want.
The Dodgers magic number is like 15, and we're not even to September yet.
Yeah.
It's insane. So
yeah, MLB cannot be happy about this. Oh, they did announce the schedule thing, which we didn't talk about. That came out this past week, that everybody, for the first time ever, that everybody's going to play everybody.
Yeah, part of the CBA. Yep.
Yeah, the interleague has always been set up where each team in a division would play interleague games against one division and the other league or whatever. Plus, if you had like another rival or something. But they're going to set it up so now every team will see each other at least one time.
I love
it throughout the season. I like that. I mean,
it makes total sense now that both leagues are under the same rules.
Right. I mean, now, and it's been like this for. Yeah, I mean, the DH thing was obviously the only thing that was different.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been a long time coming. As many games as they play, there's really no reason why they shouldn't be doing this. And yeah, now that the DH thing is universal, this makes all the sense in the world. So I'm all for it.
And the Cardinals and Cubs are in London next year as well, June 23rd and 24th, 25th, something like that. So that'll be cool. They were supposed to do it in 2020, but COVID canceled that, as well as the Cardinals playing in the Field of Dreams game. So at least we're getting that. We'll talk more baseball as the season winds down. A lot of Cardinals because the Cubs season will be complete here very shortly. Did you watch the Manti T'eo doc? I know you had quite an eventful weekend. I don't know if you got to it before.
I got to it last week.
Okay,
I did.
Me too.
Did you watch it?
I think I watched it the night after we recorded. Like we got back from dinner, and I think we watched it in 2 hours. So
same here.
What'd you think?
It was interesting. I mean, we were in college. I think I'm like the exact same age as Manti T'eo. I think he's just like a couple months older than me. So like I remember all this stuff happening. I wasn't like glued to every little detail, so I don't know that I knew everything about this story. But it was just kind of interesting to see, his side of it. And I think that he's gotten there's been a lot of negativity thrown at him, over the course of the last 10 or so years. And some of it's fair, some of it may not be, but it was, I'm glad that he got to tell his story, and they were able to talk to other people that were involved. I think it was well done. I'm glad that he got to do that, and it's unfortunate that I can't really say that like fully derailed his career.
100%.
I mean, it did, but he was still playing in the NFL. It's not like he was done after that, but it obviously had a huge impact on how his season ended, and then how the draft went, and then everything went from there, just kind of went downhill. So, I mean, yes, obviously it played a factor, I think, on him mentally, but I don't know that, everything you can result. I don't think you can, point everything at that, but it was obviously a huge part for his life, and just being, just kind of asking people up here kind of what it was like, in South Bend around that time. Just kind of interesting to get different people's perspectives on it. So I thought it was really well done. I'm glad that I watched that. I know a lot of people have been talking about it. So as I said, glad that he got to tell his story.
Yeah, I think in the moment, obviously a lot of stuff was coming out about it, but the big thing was, how do you get involved with someone you've never met? I think that's where a lot of the heat came on him. I don't think anyone blamed him for having a girlfriend or anything. It's the fact that he had never seen her, never met her. That was the issue. So there was that. At the time, Ronaya Tuiasosopo, now Naya Tuiasosopo. Just sounds harsh. Just scum. Just a bad human.
Yeah.
Just a bad human being. I mean, she knew exactly who this guy was after one Google search, and she just she was talking to him like I don't know. It's hard for me to even put it into words because I know we're running up against a time crunch here and trying to end this episode, but just a bad human. And in the doc, she's trying to come off at times as the victim, and how people started attacking her. I'm like, that's your fault. Like, that's not, that's fully reasonable for people to come at you for what you did. And I know you said it didn't, or I'm more in the camp that ruined his career. I think he would have been a top 10 linebacker in the NFL for a long time had this never happened, or had she come forth and told him what was going on and not put him through that. No doubt in my mind. I think it just messed with him so much mentally that his head was never in it. He said in it that the first 2-3 seasons in the NFL, when he took the field, he just couldn't feel his body. He was like a ghost out there. So if you haven't watched it, it's on Netflix. Watch it. It's very interesting. One of those that every 5 minutes your jaw drops like, are you kidding me? So there's that. I did want to talk about one other thing that we just completed last night. We watched The Bear. On it's on Hulu, but it's a FX show. But we watched it on Hulu. Fantastic. Have you watched it?
I have not watched it yet.
It's so good. Based in Chicago, a chef from Chicago that has experience in New York City at one of the best restaurants in the world comes back to Chicago after his brother dies and takes over his beef shop where they serve Italian beefs and stuff, and runs it. And it was not in a good place when he took over. Just very cool show, very nostalgic for Christy, obviously, because she's from Chicago, and I've been around Chicago a lot, so I saw a lot of the landmarks and knew all the Chicago lingo now and all that stuff. So very good. If you haven't checked it out, check out The Bear on FX streaming and Hulu.
I plan to get to it at some point, but I have not done it yet.
Only 8 episodes, so it's not like not a time-consuming thing at all. But I don't think we've watched any movies or anything else. That's kind of what we've been watching, was The Bear.
Yeah, I haven't. Trying to even think what the last movie I watched was. I don't know. I might have got to something last week, but this weekend I haven't been able to do much, so I'm a little behind on some things. But right now, like movie-wise, there's just not a lot out right now.
I did go see Disney Plus Day's coming up.
Disney Plus Day is coming up, so they'll have a couple things there. Plus, the D23 Expo is next weekend, so there's going to be a lot of announcements for that in terms of Marvel stuff and Star Wars stuff. So we're probably going to get Fantastic Forecast, I would imagine. Which finally, I did watch a movie.
What role are you?
What role am I?
Yeah.
I really wanted to come up with a clever answer to that. And
I saw the wheels turning.
I can't come up with anything on the spot.
It's a secret.
I'm obviously Mr. Fantastic.
You got like an NDA? You got like an NDA? You can't talk about it?
Yeah, that's exactly. I have a non-disclosure agreement. I've heard all sorts of theories and rumors about who's going to be in this show, and I'm just at this point, just give me a cast. I'm tired of theorizing.
Wait, it's a show, not a movie?
Or sorry, a movie.
Okay.
No, it's a movie. We'll have other announcements from there, but I did watch a movie last week called 3,000 Years of Longing. Came out with Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba, and directed by George Miller, who most recently did Mad Max Fury Road. He did all the Mad Max movies, but it was not quite as crisp as I was expecting. It was fine, but that was the only new movie I watched last week. So it's kind of a slow time for movies right now. I've been watching She-Hulk, which has been enjoyable. Yeah, but that's about it.
We've only got like 2.5 minutes left on this Zoom. Big Brother. We had double eviction last week.
Yes,
Jasmine and
we
Joseph
did.
There's been a lot. I forgot about this. We should have kept more time for this. I loved the way it turned out. I loved the split house thing. I think it did okay. Now there's some dirt being spilled from what I've seen on the feeds. I don't watch the feeds, but on TikTok and stuff. And the next 2 episodes could stir some stuff up from things one person in particular has said in the past couple weeks. 2 minutes.
I was
during the show on Sunday, I was a little anxious because Turner didn't need to play. He didn't need to try to win.
Yes.
I don't think Turner or Kyle either needed to try and win. But Turner especially, he was safe all the way around. Yep. So I was a little anxious for him because I just didn't know where he really lied and what he wanted to do, but he had a plan in place. So we'll see if it works out for him. But I spent about 30 minutes or so kind of because I've really grown to really like him. And I was a little concerned about him showing his cards when he didn't have to.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I like the way this is turning out because Turner's a guy that normally he was kind of an outcast. He was in the leftovers, kind of a guy that goes home early. Terrence is the old guy that normally goes home early. They're both still there. With what Taylor has gone through now, she's a little too dramatic for me. I'm not a big Taylor fan, but she went through a ton. She's still there. So I like the way the cast is turning out. So we're running into a time crunch here. Couple of weeks left of Big Brother. But thank you for listening. Follow us. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe if you're still here. We do appreciate it. We will see you next week with another Illini recap. And it might be midweek next week because of Labor Day. But we'll be here. We'll get you an episode. So thanks for listening. That's Logan. I'm Craig. See you next week.